This week we're going to be looking at the virtue poise. Now, one person has said poise is just being yourself. It's being at ease in any situation. That you're not really fighting with yourself and saying, well, what should I do? I mean, that you, under pressure, you just stay calm, and it's just that people know you know what you think you need to do. Now, if we were to guess, would you say this is poise? Practicing poise. Or how about this at Brad Stevens with the Boston Celtics? Or a guy like Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. Is this poise? Or when Tony Dungy was still coaching, did he practice poise? Or when you see a guy like Bobby Knight, all right, taking a chair and throwing it across the way. Poise. Or the Cincinnati bingo coach, good old Mara. Poise. See, poise is being true to oneself. It's not getting rattled. It's not panicking under pressure, or being thrown off or getting unbalanced, regardless of the circumstances or the situation. See, poise means holding fast, really, to your own principles, of acting in accordance with them, regardless of how bad or how good the situation may be. Poise means having a brave heart in any circumstance. Solomon, he said in Ecclesiastes, he said, do not be quickly provoked into your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. And Seabiscuit, Red Pollard, lost it. He got angry and he lost the race.
Hey, Sahib. Kind of small, isn't he? He'll look a lot smaller in a second, Georgie. He got $5, says he doesn't. What were you thinking?
He fouled me. What am I supposed to do? Let him get away with that?
Well, yeah, when he's 40-1.
He almost put me in the rail.
Well, did he? Look, we had a plan.
He fouled me, Tom. What am I supposed to do? He cut me off. He fouled me.
Son, what are you so mad at?
Yes, Brett Pollard, he lost it. And consequently lost the race because he didn't keep his poise. Now Solomon in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29 says these words, "Those who control their anger have a great understanding. Those who have a hasty temper, they're gonna make mistakes." We should never respond to rudeness. Well, I know it's easy to, and it's very frustrating, but when people are rude, really, to you or to someone else, they're really revealing who they are, not who you are. So don't take it personally. Just keep your silence. Stay calm. Practice poise. See, Solomon also wrote in Proverbs, "A wise man restrains his anger and overlooks insults. This is to his own good credit." There's a guy named Nabal. And when David was running away from King Saul, because King Saul was trying to kill him because he knew God had anointed David to be the next king. You know, David had about 600 men. And so now he comes to Nabal's, area, where he lived. And he had, David and his men had befriended some of Nabal's workers before. So David comes and says, "Is there any possibility," sends a messenger, to Nabal, and says, "Is there any possibility that we could get some food for my 600 men?" And Nabal was a drunkard, he was an idolater, he was rude and covetous, and he was just a real jerk, if you will. And he said, "No way, I'd never give you any of that." He replies back to David. Now when David gets the message, he's mad. And he's angry, and he's about ready to come and take his 600 men and by force take food and the sheep and the goats and all that other stuff. But then there's Abigail, Nabal's beautiful, lovely wife. And she hears what Nabal had done. And so she quickly gets a whole batch of food and supplies and everything. And she goes to David, where he's encamped, and she bows down to him and treats him with great respect and says, "I'm sorry. But, Nabal's own name means fool. And he is a fool. And I want to ask your forgiveness for what we've done to you." And David melts. And it was all because, guess what, of Abigail's poise. She acted in the right way. And David all of a sudden said, "Okay, I forgive you. I forgive, Nabal." Now about 10 days after that, Nabal died. God took Nabal. And as the story goes, in this last slide here that we see, it's trying to picture where David now comes to beautiful Abigail and says, "I would like to take you for my wife." And that actually does happen. And that might be why, people have coined, 1 Samuel 25, the chapter, as a picture of a woman with God's own poise, named Abigail. See, Solomon also wrote in Proverbs, "A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel." Paul Brown, the great football coach, he made this comment: "The key to winning is poise under stress. And the Apostle James wrote in his epistle, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." So when you're frustrated and there's a lot of pressure on you, just remember that diamonds, the coal, when there's pressure on them, they turn into diamonds. So stay calm and rather say, hey, bring that pressure on. Practice poise.